Red Dead Redemption 2 has set such high expectations for us all. Even before the release of this game, it had such a standard that, it was legitimately a question as to whether or not it could truly live up to all the hype that it had created. We saw the amazing screenshots, we got the bits and pieces of the plot, and we saw that Rockstar once again was trying to raise their own bar beyond even their own extremely high standards. Before the official release of Red Dead Redemption 2, critical reviews started to become published, and the game was released to universal critical acclaim. As of right now, the PlayStation 4 edition of Red Dead Redemption 2 has a 97 on Metacritic, which is one of the highest ranking video games of all time, with a user score of 7.8, muddied down by PC players who are intentionally ranking the game low out of spite since the game just didn't launch on PC right away. As someone who plays PC, I just want to let you guys know something. Intentionally ranking a game low that you haven't played yet because you're mad that it didn't launch on PC is pretty fucking stupid. And it's the same toxicity that makes it hard for me to even say that I'm a PC gamer most of the time. I mean, it's not a competition if a game launches on console first. And there's no reason to just go about doing things like this. I mean, we all know the game's coming to PC eventually, just wait your turn. The PC version's gonna be superior to the console one anyways, so there's really no point, You just shouldn't mind waiting much longer, even if, yes, it is kinda shitty that PC didn't get the game first also. But regardless, don't let the user reviews fool you. This game really is something special. Keep in mind though, this is not my final opinion on the game. I haven't finished the storyline yet, I haven't come close to 100% yet, and we all have to see what Red Dead Online is gonna be like, so take this as my first review of the game. I'm not gonna review much of the story, only the parts that remain more relevant to the actual gameplay elements and things that I'm gonna cover, and I don't really want to spoil anything important for players who haven't gotten the chance to play yet. Once I complete the story mode and we get the shot at the online gameplay to see what we're getting, I'll make a final review for the game. However, Red Dead Redemption 2 just isn't a game that you have to complete to the 100% in order to truly enjoy. While this is quite the complex game, and yes, it might take some time to get used to, some of the more complex controls, the game often really is at its best when you're not even doing anything. I've put maybe 12 hours into the game thus far, and I've spent a lot of that just exploring and seeing what this world has to offer, and what I've seen has been quite spectacular, honestly. The world is so vivid, alive, detailed, even outside of civilization or your camp. Wandering through the forest, you're going to see hundreds of species of animals, some of which can get a tad bit hostile and want to kill you. Bunnies are going to hop about, deer will prowl and feed, being scared by virtually any noise that you make while you get close to them. You can hunt them as well. Bears might try to eat you, wolves are going to run in packs. The trees are beautiful, the rivers and streams are lifelike in their physics and appearance. On the trails that connect the towns and they sprawl through the open country, you're going to have the opportunity to actually interact with passerbys in plenty of ways. Maybe a wagon of interest is going to roll past you, you want to rob the owner, or maybe you just give them a friendly hello and continue about your own business. This open world is one of the most interactive, expansive, detailed, and beautiful open worlds that have ever been created, period. It might take you just about 60 hours to complete the main storyline to the game, but you can just as easily spend well over 60 hours just interacting with the environment, chatting it up with local townspeople, seeing the realistic horse testicle physics, and admiring the nature. The detail in this game is unmatched in any game I've ever played before. Like I said, the horse's balls actually shrink in cold weather. You have to brew coffee before drinking it. You clean and maintain your weapons. Horses can stock weapons for you. You have to calm your horse down whenever it becomes agitated. And another amazing part of the game is the dialogue selection. Even though this game is as expansive as it is, there's just so much to do. You have also the opportunity at any time to choose how the narrative goes. While doing missions with Dutch and the gang, you often have the opportunity to choose how they approach the mission as well. Do you go in guns blazing, or will you take the lead and kill the guards? When you rob a train and there's hostages, do you kill them to avoid the law finding out, or do you spare them? This deep dialogue gives your perspective so much more meaning than just, I'm a cowboy with a six-shot, bitches. You decide. And that's pimp. The game benefits from it, and these RPG elements remind me of the best parts of game franchises like Fallout and The Elder Scrolls. However, remember that when you do have these, you have consequences behind your actions. If you pass a broken down wagon, you'll have the opportunity to either help or ignore the situation. And helping people in the world, sparing their lives, being friendly, and just, not going around killing all the people will give you honor, which again reminds me of good things like karma from Fallout. Having high honor will allow you to be more recognized in a positive light, granting you access to more cities and generally giving you less problems with families and other potential problems. But if you start killing everything in sight, people are going to remember, and when you come around, you're going to have problems on your hands. Entire communities might turn against you. Another thing that I really enjoy is the random moments in the game. Now, we had these in GTA 5 as well, but there's a moment in Valentine in particular that I found cool during one of the missions where a woman is actually pinned up against the wall and you go across, the road, you go into this alleyway, and you actually can choose to either defuse the situation or intervene. I chose to intervene, which means that you just threaten the guy. He kind of just, smart mouths you for a moment, then he walks away peacefully, leaving her at B and just, not killing her, doing anything bad, right? I'm assuming by defusing the situation it means you pretty much just kill him, which you have to remember, if you do things like that, you are going to upset people. Regardless of who you kill, they have friends, they have family. Killing them will actually affect your standing with these people. But in that situation, I actually got more good honor out of it. Another moment in particular that I enjoyed, during that same mission actually, while going there from the camp, there was a wagon that broke apart and the horses went wild and they ran off. It's this nice old man, so I decided to help him out. I went over to him, he asks me to go get one of his horses. You go over there, you calm it down, and you walk it back to him. He gets it all fixed up. And once again, things like that are going to earn you good karma, and of course are going to affect how people look at you and affect your standing with certain communities and things like that. So this means that you decide the narrative. Of course, yeah, the game has its own story, but throughout this, you get to write your own. Are you the bad guy who everyone hates, or are you going to be the one that does good and some people are going to favor? It's your choice. And throughout it all, Rockstar has managed to actually improve on the basics. They've solidified features of older titles and still have brought innovation to this game. I've noticed that the shooting in this game is quite akin to Grand Theft Auto 5, which is just gonna probably become a Rockstar staple at this point. Sometimes it feels just a tad bit clunky, perhaps that's due to the limitations of a controller over keyboard and mouse. The weapon wheel is back and better than ever. It honestly feels better than GTA 5's was, and in Red Dead Redemption 2 there's a lot of upkeep to be done. You have to survive. This just isn't some western shooter where you can run around and your health regenerates over time. No, everything matters. If you're wearing a jacket outside of the mountains, you're gonna get hot, which means your other cores are more unstable. Your health core must be replenished with medicine. Your player has to eat food to survive. And weapons need cleaned and maintained. You actually have to loot enemies and locations in order to gather materials necessary for you and your camp to survive. After missions, you'll often be tasked with looting these dead bodies for ammos, supplies, cabins that you've cleared for food and medicine, or trains for money or railroad bonds, whatever it is. You play the game, and then you go find your rewards. You gotta earn your keep, not only for you, but for your camp. The story centrally revolves around you and this camp, always on the move, heading west for land, trying to survive without being caught. The camp relies on you to hunt for it for food, raise money to help it thrive, and to keep the morale high for all the members. Your actions matter to them as well. You don't only have to keep yourself alive, they have to eat too. In return, though, many of them have great functions that help you out. They're helpful during missions, and everyone in town pretty much has a job. The cook is going to serve stew from what you gather each night in a pot in the middle of the camp, from which you can even have a bowl. You can interact with these people and understand them and their personalities by just talking to them, completing missions with them, and more. Horses are quite often even the same. They actually have personalities, and many don't like it when you get behind them or try to ride them when you're not their owner. They get frightened by bears and they need calmed. They have stamina and health, and you have to bond with them to increase these things. You can, of course, buy better horses from stables. By building from the solid foundations that previous Rockstar titles have created, including the first Red Dead Redemption title, this game takes it even a few steps further, creating such a detailed, grueling Western experience that we've never seen the likes of really ever before. Of course, the first Red Dead Redemption being the only comparison I can draw, but then again, these games are quite different. The map is a pretty great size. It offers a load of variety. There's mountains, forests, plains, rivers, towns. It's got it all. And it captures the beauty of the western United States in full, detail-rich third and first person, depending on what you'd like. The game is truly beautiful. Often I feel like video games are overlooked as works of art, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is yet another shining example of that pinnacle of art. In many ways, it captures that western theme better than most Hollywood movies ever could, and it's certainly more interactive. To have created not only something so beautiful, so detailed and so lifelike in the way that it lives and breathes, the way that it interacts back with you, the way that your actions influence it, and the way that such a story is going to play out in it, I don't think I can really find a counter-argument against this being peak art. We're less than 24 hours into release, and I clearly haven't finished the game, but with all of this evidence put forth, with all that I've already experienced and learned throughout the process of the gameplay, and with all that the gaming community has been offered by this game, I can confidently say that Red Dead Redemption 2 is gearing up to be one of the greatest video games of this generation, perhaps even all time. It's certainly one of the highest rated titles of all time, and I think that it's already making the argument that it's definitely a masterpiece. It isn't often that you're going to find a game that even before it releases is being pretty much released to universal 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 5s, and honestly, even before this game came out, we have this as the Game of the Year favorite. I mean, at this point, I don't really think that I can pick anything else. It is one of the highest rated titles of all time already, and I think that it's making pretty good moves. I mean, if there is one game you have to play this year, coming from someone who has played God of War, which has been hailed as a classic and one of the best PS4 titles of all time, coming from someone who played Spider-Man, which is one of the greatest superhero video games of all time and one of the best PS4 titles of all time, you have to, absolutely have to, play Red Dead Redemption 2. Even if you haven't played the first one, this game's going to be worth your time and money. Even with more complex controls that might take a little bit to understand, even if you're missing some of the backstory behind the game, even if you just simply don't like open world games for some reason, you still need to play this game. So far, I'm gonna give this game a 10 out of 10. Still extremely early. Still haven't seen multiplayer, but if I'm being honest, this game doesn't need multiplayer to be an instant classic title. Rockstar has outdone themselves once again, creating an open world that sets new standards in pretty much all aspects of gameplay, challenges the player in the right ways, and develops such a beautiful, interactive, and truly innovative Western experience. Once again, just to be clear, this is my first review of the game based on just the story mode. Once the online modes come out and I fully completed the story, giving you adequate time to also complete it, I'll do a very detailed final review that includes everything down to the story and the multiplayer. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Follow me on Twitter. Thank you guys. For the patrons who got to see this review early for $5 a month, you can become one of those people to see reviews early at the link down below. Join the Discord down below as well, and until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, playing as a cowboy, and signing out.